Sometimes we get requests from the viewers of Banger TV of the interviews that you'd like to see more of on the channel. And believe it or not, we've been getting a lot of requests for Cannibal Corpse recently. So we dug into the archives of our extreme metal episode of Metal Evolution. And here's my interview with Alex Webster from outside the Phoenix Theatre in Toronto.
Rolling. Alex Webster, take one.
So, kind of want to go back to the beginning and talk about your early days in upstate New York, and then that process of moving to Florida and why you decided to do that.
Well, yeah, the band started out. We're all from the Buffalo, New York area. That was our scene, the Buffalo, New York metal scene. That was our scene. When Cannibal got together, the other bands we'd been in, I don't know if they were quite as focused on the darker side of the extreme music scene, like Beyond Death, the band that Jack and I were in. A couple of the guys were really focused more on the crossover kind of stuff, like DRI and that sort of thing, which Jack and I liked, but Jack and I wanted to check out some of the darker sounding stuff, and the stuff we gravitated towards was Slayer, the Old Creator, Old Sodom, Dark Angel, Death, Possessed. When we got Cannibal together, it was all five of us were pretty much on the same page from the very beginning. We wanted to make a really dark, aggressive band that had horror, gore kind of lyrics and just really fast, aggressive death metal. That's what we wanted to do right from the start.
Going back to those early years with Cannibal, sort of the early 90s when you guys are just starting to put out records, what was the attraction to creating music that was so extreme? Why push it?
I don't know, I think that's just metal by nature. You're kind of going to do that. You got your favorite bands, and then you want to go a little further than that. We're very inspired by albums like Pleasure to Kill by Creator, Darkness Descends by Dark Angel, all the Slayer stuff, that kind of stuff, Death, Scream, Bloody Gore, that Necrophagia, Season of the Dead. I really like that, especially like the vocals and lyrics. So you just want to go see if you can go even a little further. And it might not even be a conscious thing, you just end up doing it. And it kind of builds on itself. I've always called it like the staircase of metal or something, where everybody's getting a little heavier and a little heavier as years go by, so.
Yeah. And also the other part of this, and that you've talked about many, many times, is of course the artwork, the themes of the music, the lyrics, and it's become the bread and butter. It's become the staple of Cannibal's music over all this time. What was the appeal of doing that to you guys? We
definitely were just interested in horror movies, and we were interested in death metal music. We'd sit around watching horror movies. That's if there was nothing going on a weeknight, it's like, well, let's get some beers and watch, Evil Dead or something. So we're taking two of our favorite things and putting them together. And we certainly were not the first band to do that. We just wanted to play music that was similar to the stuff we loved, really. We were just trying to play music we loved, and you end up putting your own stamp on it almost accidentally. Maybe because you're not even, in our case, I think we weren't good enough at imitating the bands we liked, and we'd wound up developing our own sound. If we were better, more experienced musicians, we might have done too good of a job.
When was the first instance when you started to receive some controversy for what you guys were doing, in terms of like when something was banned or when people were actually speaking out about your music? When was the first time that happened?
I believe the first time we had censorship problems was with Butchered at Birth. Metal Blade had to re-release it with a white album cover. So many stores wouldn't take it. I'm not sure what kind of official censorship there was, if there was any government action from any country at that time. By the time Tomb of the Mutilated came out, then we started to run into problems with a censorship group in Germany. Every now and then we'll run into a situation where they want us to change our set list, take certain songs out. It seems kind of arbitrary how the whole censorship thing happens. Like, they'll let us play Fucked with a Knife, but they won't let us play Hammer Smashed Face. I don't know why one is more or less offensive than the other. We didn't make the decision, so I can't tell you. And that became a challenge for us over the next few years, and it remains a challenge to this day.
In the big picture, though, do you think this negative attention has hurt you or helped you in the long run?
The negative attention has definitely helped us. It's an easy question to answer. It's free publicity. And I do remember hearing something about, I think it might have been Bob Dole when he made his statement. He said, well, we're not trying to censor these bands, we're just trying to publicly shame them and let people know what they're doing. I said, well, we're not ashamed of what we're doing. We want people to know about what we're doing, so thank you for the free advertisement.
Why is it that extreme metal endures even though it's not popular? The critics don't pay attention to it. The tastemakers of our culture don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Why is it that this music continues? What is it tapping into?
You know, I think people just like extremes. You know, you just want the heaviest stuff you can find. Ever since I started listening to metal, anytime I heard something that was a little heavier than my favorite band, that became my next favorite band. Even though I still like the old stuff, I still love the stuff I started out with, but the heavier and faster it is, the more extreme it is, the more I like it. I'm not sure why. I think just people like aggressive things. It's probably something in human nature. There's going to be aggression built in from evolution, and this is a positive way to get that out. I realized just how cool it is that we're all of us in the death metal scene are part of something that's our own. You know, we all built this music. You know, all the bands in it, you can actually make something completely new. It's not a kind of music where there's this massive tradition that you have to follow. You can add to it, you know, and I didn't realize when we were just starting out, we were just having fun. You know, we just wanted to play the kind of music we listened to. But as it went on, I realized, oh, you know, all of us in these bands, hopefully us, and then the other bands too, we're all adding a little stamp to the extreme metal scene with our music.